Hi, my name is Pete Gordon, and I am 1/3 of the critical systems team, and we're going to demonstrate for you today the Ascali scale, a bathroom scale that we have hacked to reverse engineer the LCD screen so we can capture the weight from the scale and send it up to HealthVault and potentially PatientFusion. And we're going to demonstrate PatientFusionSync, which is a HealthVault web application that synchronizes both ways between HealthVault and PatientFusion.
First, we'll show you the Visual Studio solution, which holds in it two projects. One is the website, which is the PatientFusionSync application that runs on the web, and we'll synchronize PatientFusion and HealthVault and vice versa. The weight, the height, the blood pressure, and the blood glucose levels back and forth. And then the other project is the Ascali weight scale, which is a Windows Forms application that allows us to prototype the scale, reading the scale directly through serial, and sending that data directly up to HealthVault that can then be synchronized with PatientFusion.
I'll show you the Ascali scale hack that we reverse engineer the LCD to get the weight and send that through serial and record it to SD and get it up on our Windows Forms application and then send it to HealthVault and send it to PatientFusion.
Okay, I'm Kevin Lawrence. I'm the other 1/3 of the group here, and this is the Ascali scale hack.
All right, this is the Ascali scale. Retails on Amazon for about $45. I think their suggested retail price is about $70, $69, but you can get it for $45 on Amazon. What we did was we hooked up to the segments and the COM ports on the LCD and reverse engineered them into a microchip development board after doing some filtering and capacitor, and record that data of the recording to an SD card right here. And we also have that data available to us in real time by a serial. This is a USB to serial connection that we send up to the PC, where we have a C# application that's running in the background that will show the weight as it's displayed on the scale. So Kevin, why don't you stand on the scale and let's see how much you weigh, and let's pass that data up to HealthVault and to PatientFusion.
Okay, so basically we start off with saying you tap on the scale, turns on. The numbers show on the screen, 0.0. Now step on it, and you'll be able to see through the screen capture and video my weight. Let's linger a couple times, and the data will lock in there. And once it's done that, it will send it up to HealthVault.
A couple seconds later, it says it discovered the weight and successfully sent 165.8 pounds to HealthVault. The screen was cut off a little bit there just because we have the resolution set to 1280 by 768 so that we can record screen on video also. But that demonstrates a Ascali scale hack, very similar to an offering by Withanes, which uses Wi-Fi connection, or an offering by I'm blank on the name. But anyway, another offering out there that actually does cellular GPRS. The plan here with this prototype, and we're in talks with the CEO of Ascali about it, and their future is to actually embed maybe a Zigbee wireless with an internet bridge to be able to get this type of scale hooked up over the internet and be a low-cost solution for people with CHF, congestive heart failure, who need to track their weight every day. That is the Ascali scale hack.
Now that we've uploaded the data with the Ascali scale and our Windows Forms application through the serial connection, we are going to log into HealthVault and take a look at the data that we just uploaded. So I'm logging into HealthVault on the HealthVault development and test environment, and going into the health information, and then browsing down to the weight measurement for myself, where I see no data, and going over to Kevin's, since he was the individual that we uploaded data for, and looking at the details of the weight sent to HealthVault from the Ascali scale. So just today, this afternoon, a few minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago, we sent the data up from Ascali into HealthVault. Okay, we're back in Visual Studio. This time, instead of looking at the Scali weight scale project within Visual Studio, we'll focus on the website that's in Visual Studio. This is the PatientFusionSync website. It is a Health Vault application running on a local machine that integrates with Health Vault and integrates with Patient Fusion. First, we'll log in to PatientFusionSync as our Health Vault account, so we can give Health Vault permissions so that Health Vault can synchronize. After we've logged in with Health Vault and given it PatientFusionSync Health Vault permissions, we'll be prompted with Patient Fusion login, so we can get Patient Fusion's token and get permissions to the Patient Fusion account, the PHR account that needs to synchronize with Health Vault. And then after logging into Patient Fusion, we'll see finally the PatientFusionSync user interface. This is our application, the Health Vault custom application that synchronizes Health Vault and Patient Fusion. So now in the PatientFusionSync user interface, it's a simple one-page user interface. It shows a graph of the selected data type that we're comparing, and this data comes directly from Health Vault. It's weight. You can switch back and forth between other data types. Height, you'll go out over Ajax and get that back and show that he's been getting a lot taller over the past 9 years. Or blood pressure, which we don't have many data items for yet, but we'll show you a couple and another one in just a minute when we use our MicroLife blood pressure, and our heart rate, which is fallen over the 1 day quite a bit. He's more relaxed now. And we'll go ahead and synchronize. We can show here the dates of the last synchronizations, and we'll go ahead and click Sync Now to begin to synchronize Health Vault and Patient Fusion. You see it running in the background. I'll bring up Firebug so we can see a little bit under the hood, and we can see the synchronization process and the Ajax call right here going in the background to get sync history. And there it is. It's done. It shows 15 records from Health Vault and new records from Health Vault and 0 from Patient Fusion that were synchronized on Tuesday, September 14th at 4:21 p.m. And it says successfully synchronized Patient Fusion and Health Vault. That is the Patient Fusion Sync application, and shows the synchronization of the two PHRs, Health Vault and Patient Fusion. And then down at the bottom, we have links that you can get to your Health Vault account directly or your Patient Fusion account directly. Okay, now that we've synchronized between the two and see that there's 15 records new from Health Vault that went into Patient Fusion, let's go directly to our Patient Fusion account and log in and see the records that were passed up and updated, and most importantly, see the weight that came from the Scali scale that now is up in the Patient Fusion application. So on the 14th, date times are different than what we had before. We see the 165.8 pounds passed up from PatientFusionSync into Patient Fusion. So that is the entire flow from an Scali scale hack to read the LCD using a serial connection Windows Forms up to Health Vault, and the PatientFusionSync Health Vault application that synchronizes Health Vault and Patient Fusion.
Hi, it's Pete Gordon again. We're going to show off a medical device, blood pressure monitor from MicroLife that is made to integrate with Health Vault. A little bit different than the Scali scale that took a lot of hacking on the embedded system side. This one is actually MicroLife blood pressure that connects by USB to connection center, and we're going to go ahead and start taking my blood pressure, and we're going to synchronize this with Health Vault, or we're going to send it up to Health Vault through connection center and then synchronize it with Patient Fusion. So I'm going to relax a little bit, try to relax more. I probably won't relax very much. Yeah, way too much coffee today. But now we're going to take a look at synchronizing this data with Connection Center, and then getting it from Connection Center into PatientFusionSync.
So we're in the Health Vault Connection Center. This is the part of the Connection Center that integrates with devices for Health Vault, and we've selected to upload data on Kevin's behalf, and we'll click Upload Now, and it's downloading the data from the MicroLife blood pressure monitor and uploading that data to Health Vault, and it's uploaded the one item, the blood pressure item, to Health Vault. So we'll go into Health Vault and take a look. Okay, now that we've taken our data from the MicroLife blood pressure monitor, we're going to go ahead and go to Health Vault application directly and show that that data is gotten up to Health Vault, which we're pretty certain on anyways because the connection center already told us it did. Go into the health information and look at the blood pressure measurements, and we can see there it is, the blood pressure record that just came up 4:28 p.m. from the MicroLife blood pressure monitor, and it's in Health Vault. So let's see if we can synchronize that with PatientFusion now. Okay, now that we've got the blood pressure data in Health Vault and we've checked that it's there, we've gone into our PatientFusionSync application, which is currently running locally on my machine that we showed earlier with weight, but now with blood pressure, and we're going to synchronize. And now that we've done the synchronization, it says successfully synchronized PatientFusion and Health Vault at Tuesday 4:33 p.m., about 5 minutes after the data was pushed up to Health Vault. If we go back here, it was at 4:28 p.m. and synchronized at 4:33 p.m. And that is our synchronization, and it ran. So now let's move on to the PatientFusion application and see that the data actually got into PatientFusion. So now we're in the PatientFusion application directly. We're going to go ahead and log in and check the data that was ran through PatientFusionSync from Health Vault up into PatientFusion. So let's log in and make sure our blood pressure data got back got up into PatientFusion. So we click on the My Data after logging in, and we see each piece of data, the 3 pieces of data for blood pressure, were synchronized up to PatientFusion today. The beats per minute from PatientFusionSync came in at 106, 141, and on the systolic, 92 on the diastolic, and those were all synchronized through PatientFusionSync. And just to confirm, we'll go back into Health Vault and see that those same pieces of data, the 141, 92, and 106 from the MicroLife blood pressure, they all confirmed that they were synchronized up to PatientFusion.
So that concludes our PatientFusionSync application, which synchronizes Health Vault to PatientFusion, and our Escali Scale project. Let's take a look at the Scale project again, which was an LCD hack to reverse engineer the LCD, record it to SD card, and send it over the serial connection to the computer, and then upload it directly into Health Vault, and then synchronize it with PatientFusion. And the MicroLife blood pressure monitor that shows the PatientFusionSync application working with Health Vault, already compliant device. So that is the conclusion of our 2-part Health 2.0 challenge submission for working with PatientFusion API and creating a Health Vault application called PatientFusionSync. Thanks.